Life is a cyclical process where it is easy to get caught up in the mundane. It can be difficult to bring back that unfiltered creativity and curiosity from childhood. With a different angle and a fresh perspective is how we get close to that spark. Children are raw, unconcerned, and radically happy. This inspiration is what made me consider taking a different approach to making music. While I've grown up playing the violin, I'd like to venture out into what my environment considered unique. This became how I delved into music technology. This ever-growing world came late into my life. Its joys are something I wish I found when I was not in my last year of high school. So now, when I do outreach and work as a music teacher, I make it a point to open up the world to my students. When teaching, a tool I will often use and promote has been Chrome Music Lab. This website has been designed to be an accessible way of teaching music, with different mini-games or experiments that teach kids different levels of music and music tech. CML is one of the most intuitive and different ways of approaching music. One of the experiments that I find most interesting is Kandinsky. It allows users to draw shapes, and these visual products will become music. This experiment brings to life Wassily Kandinsky's state of mind. Kandinsky dedicated his life to highlighting the relationship between sound and colors. In his art and writings, Kandinsky would explain how an image can describe a sound and vice versa. I find Kandinsky's perspective to have a truth. Music can naturally be a picture in someone's mind. So what if there was a device that can reproduce the painting that one thinks about? With this in mind, Google and a team of developers at Active Theory created this specific experiment. The experiment shows how an image can live within an auditory experience. One of the problems the CML games face is that they only live within the in-browser experience. Any project developed in the experiments cannot be exported and used in other settings. I had to ask if I would be able to recreate the Kandinsky experiment as an Ableton plugin. I want this different approach to music making to be in Ableton, so that there is a fresh perspective, a different angle. I want as many direct interactions with music as possible. The more ways there can be to make music, then the more fuel can exist to feed a creative search in their wants or needs of expression. Life is a cyclical process, and this plugin helps break through that. This plugin will spark the inner child's raw, uncaring, and unfiltered self. There are two different plugins available for a user. The MIDI effects plugin will act as a sequencer, where a person can create random melodies. The audio instrument plugin is a synthesizer that changes timbre depending on the colors used and other variable factors. Both plugins have a starting section to the far left. While slightly different, they both have a toggle button that turns on the painting canvas, a manual button, a reset, and a grid that helps users create presets. Both plugins also have a canvas, which is a screen that will read a mouse's position and clicks. These become drawings and controllable variables, which are brush size, brush color, and background color. The MIDI plugin differs in a few ways. There's a sequence on button, which when clicked will activate automated sequencer playback and an octave range menu. This section has two horizontal faders, wherein the top controls the minimum pitch of canvas and the button fader controls the maximum pitch. The plugin will start at C4 and end at C5. If the faders are moved to the right, they will go up through octaves. If the faders are moved to the left, the octave range will be brought down. On the right side of the canvas, there is a bar with two faders, which lets users draw straight lines like an Etch-a-Sketch. Then there are the color control and sequence review button. The color control pops out a window of two color swatches and their transparency sliders. The left swatch affects pen color, which changes note length, and pen size changes loop length, and the right one affects background color. The background color will change what direction the step sequencer reads melodic information. The sequence review button shows the live step object. If a user wants to see how their drawing is creating music, they can open the sequence review to see the MIDI information. A final unique quality to the MIDI plugin is that on the canvas, pitches are based on the vertical axis and velocities are based on the horizontal. Meanwhile, the audio plugin has an extra button under Paint On. This extra button allows for a quick playback of the sound that was last created. In this application, pitches are created on the horizontal axis and velocity is affected through the vertical. To the left of the canvas, instead of a color control button, the color swatches live in the front. The brush color swatch will affect the timbre of sound produced, and the background color will create a filter around the sound. Depending on the color and transparency level, the filter can be a high pass, low pass, or more. Under the swatches are the gain fader and synth home button. The gain fader will act as an output volume fader. The synth home button will pop out a window where the user can see the timbre of the synthesizer and filter that is created by the color swatches. These are the Kandinsky plugins. Welcome to the world of sonified color.